you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
The calm before the storm. I'm your host, Minister A.H.A.D. With me here, Brother Fakir Abdul-Aziz and Lord Holy-Apostle Deen Saleem. May the Lord's peace and other blessing be with everybody's presence. We want to thank you for viewing this program and tuning in. Before we start our program, we'd like to send our condolences out to one of the participants at Cablevision, Sister Lisa Durden. Our love and affection go out to her and her family at this time of mourning, and that we remember her in our thoughts and those in your prayers. And as well, we want to thank our sister Robin Ritchie of Imagine That, you know, for being a participant and a part of this Urban Peace Day. You know, her love affair. She had a birthday the other day that we shared into, and love was given out to her, and she reciprocated it back and said love to everyone here. So one of the things that we want to touch on this evening on our program in our head moment is the fact that what is the mission of this A.H.A.D organization, this third house subdivision of that organization, the aim to reach into the people who are the downtrodden, the people that need most to hear this message of the Lord. You know, those who are trying to find new pathways in life. You know, because I know it wasn't for this man here. For myself, you know, it's one who was searching, looking for something much deeper than, and the question that we all ponder, or we may have pondered at one time, what is my reason for living? What is my purpose in life? And many people question out there, and they go through the trials and tribulations of life, never knowing what their calling is, what their purpose for being here is, you know, whether to have a family, you know, possess a job, or just not just dealing with the material or financial things, but their greater purpose, their greater sense for giving back, because there are those who came before us, our ancestors, those who passed on before us, who had given up their lives for a better way for their generations and progeny to come after them. So we're looking now in this day in 2007 for the same thing, the purpose and aim of this particular group that the Lord has sent down with this man here, Holy-Apostle Deen, with the message of the Lord this day.
Yeah, the reason for being. When people, like you said, when they're raising families, their jobs, their lifestyles, whether they're what the society calls positive or negative, there's a reason. They got a reason as to why, you know. So, yes, this A.H.A.D mission is, for me, is a very real and a significant thing, you know, and it's a reach out to all people, cross sections of people, and I can even see that, whether those people can accept it or not. And it's not even for myself as an individual that can even attempt to prove it to them as well, other than just giving what I'm given on the A.H.A.D moment and to share with it and just trying to stay close and listen to the wisdom that is given through the messenger right here, Lord Holy-Apostle. Yeah.
You know, what Brother Minister Idris had said in terms of it being for the downtrodden, I can understand him saying that because our battle has been as such that the intelligent, well-off, you know, well-informed people who have so-called made it, they try to ignore what we're saying. They hear us, and then they move on. We had a very, very prominent individual, Supreme Court judge of New York, who humbled himself down and said, I believe, you know, I recognize, I've been studying, and I've been looking, and I see that you are the messenger. It's by your works, by your words, because no man could give this information, you know, where you have others who claim to be holy men that would not even hear me, you know. But it is definitely a thing for all the people, you know. We just has arrived at the ones who may listen, because the Lord said, you know, when men are in pain, they tend to listen.
Right.
And it's the downtrodden people that has a tendency to listen, you know. But what we give on in A.H.A.D moment, oh, it is. If I had to weigh it on a scale, the scale wouldn't even move. It would not
Right.
even move. It would be like the back of an ant.
Mm.
Not even the whole body of an ant. The back of an ant placed on the scale that was held down by a mountain. Compared to the information that the Lord has given me to give to you all, you know that what we give here is nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Small
Dropping the
in
bucket,
comparison.
Sound bite.
Dropping the
Yes.
bucket. Mhm.
But the thing about it is that, you know, the Lord has given me, you know, Ahezaah has given me words for the world. Not just for our people, but for the world. Going beyond races and creeds and colors and religions. And the Lord himself is the one that creates religions.
Right.
Religion meaning paths of life, ways of thinking, ways of believing and acting, conducting yourselves. You feel me? And that's why every way of life is a religion. And people, when they want to label something, and then that's when they start having problems.
Right.
Like, this is the religion of this is the religion of that, this is the religion of this, that, and the other. I'm not about that religion of that or this, that, or the other. I'm about this religion, you know. But every club is a religion. Every social happening that occurs consistently that people believe in, that's a religion, you know.
That's true.
People going to work every day, that's their religion, you know. Because then if you don't believe me, you got some people worship the dollar bill like it's the Lord, and they will kill themselves if they lose it.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's
people during Depression, they jumped off the bridge and jumped off of buildings, committed suicide in all kind of ways. Once they stocks and bonds fall, you know, they worship in that thing. They say, I'm ruined. My life is ruined. I have nothing else to live for. I
Yeah.
can't face the people. Boom, they gone.
Might even kill themselves to obtain it too, you know, or ruin their bodies and their minds and stuff like that.
Yes,
You know,
yes. In that process of trying to obtain it, they destroy themselves, you know.
Yes, sir.
But you know, our mission is to help the people, to show them that the Lord is merciful. I'm a sign. I'm a sign of the Lord. I'm a sign of the Lord's wisdom. I'm a pen of the Lord. I'm the voice of the Lord. And for me to say that, the enemies of the Lord get angry.
Yeah.
Oh, they get angry. How dare he say that? Who the hell he think he is, you know, to say that, you know? But they will not sit down, open themselves up completely, and submit to hearing exactly what I say without prejudice. And that's the only way you're going to even be able to weigh something, if you do it without prejudice. You have to be able to reason. That's why I can respect that Supreme Court judge who said, I not only read your book, I studied it. You know, and I respected him for that. You know what I mean? Now, he asked me, he said, what could he do for me? I didn't know what to say to him. He said, if you ever need anything, I'm here. You know? And I may call him, because he's the author of a book himself, but I may call him to have him come out to Urban Peace Day to speak to, you know, to our people, you know, to the people that attend that day. Because to me, he's a very wise man, intelligent man, you know, a fair man, you know, and his family is, I've met members of his family, very fair and reasonable people, you know, intellectual people who have attained a lot. But the thing I respect the most is that he is a man of the world, and he hasn't lost himself with his title and his position, his money. He hasn't lost himself with that. He still have reason. So he is a sign to me. You know? And it was prophesied in the book of Revelation that an elder would come and say, this is the one, there's one to open the book. And he has done that, you know, for me, so to speak, you know?
The Lord's giving you that as a sign, you know, not so much for you, but as a witness bearing for himself, that the Lord called him to recognize.
And for you and
you
for
know,
everybody that
you know.
witnessed that,
And one of the things that you touched on was dealing with people, as the Lord sent down his words, you know, his way of life. And as it come, it never really had a name. Once it get named, that's when I see a death start happening in that religion. Because now you have locked in that everything, because what the Lord has brought for all that time, like the religion of the law says in the Quran, follow the way of Abraham.
Right.
Now what was his religion?
Right.
It never had a name. Those who followed Jesus, they didn't get called Christians until later on. They were followers of the way that the Lord gave through him to teach them the following. To Muhammad, now Ahezaah says to him, I have perfected for you
Your religion.
your religion, your way of life.
Your way.
Way of life, right.
But now, all the religions now, as I see now,
And
they
we
are-
call it Islam.
exactly.
You know, but where I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
it's
off,
all
but I
right.
had to get you there.
Yeah,
But the thing about it is, it said, I have perfected your religion. I have perfected your way of life. If we translate it in English,
right.
I perfected your way of life, and we call it in the way of peace.
Right.
Because Islam means the way of peace.
Peace.
Yeah.
That's right.
You understand? We call it the way of peace. But, and Muhammad said all things are Muslim.
That's right.
So here you got people come behind and say, well, I'm a Muslim and I'm of the religion of Islam. Now they done misconstrued the words and mixed them up and mumble
Right,
and
that's what I'm
jumble.
saying, right.
And then when Allah sent his messenger today, they say, he's deluded.
Right.
What is he talking about? Go to your book. If you're such an Arabic scholar, go to your book and compare it to the things that I say. I don't know Arabic. Go to your book and then find me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's right.
So it's just a simple challenge.
You know.
You know.
We were talking about in a previous show how others who aren't, or what they call the Islamic faith, have a different concept of what the term Muslim means.
Anyway,
they
yeah.
might be taking Muslim to mean title or something like that. But we look at the Muslims since the time of the Prophet Muhammad and how they've allowed the religion to disintegrate, they've allowed the way to be covered over by their own ideas or their own materialism. And so the people, the world in general will look at the term Muslim or Islam and will see something different than what Ahezaah sent forth and dictated for it to mean. The way, simply, just very simply the way.
You know, I never thought that I would do this, what I'm about to do. But Ahezaah is giving me something that I'm compelled to say. It's forced me to say it. It's prophecy. Right on air. Muslims are going to start warring against one another to a much higher degree than they have been
Right.
in the near coming future.
Mm-hmm.
Because, see, the thing about it is the Lord is angry with them.
Mm-hmm.
They're angry with them that they have duped millions and billions of people to believe that they're following the way of Muhammad.
Yeah.
Allah loves Muhammad
Mm-hmm.
just as it loves Jesus. Allah loves Muhammad. And the words of Muhammad was the words of the Lord Most High, the words of Allah. And they're taking Muhammad's words and putting behind their back and raised up other books. And now that the prophet whom Muhammad had spoke of to come is here,
Right.
you know, one of the two he mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
they want to deny and denounce and act as though this book don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
This book and me.
Yeah.
And that the book of Revelation wasn't prophecy for times to come after Muhammad.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
They want to put an end to the world, and they want them to be that end.
Yeah.
And that every other human being have to meet that end, which is them. They want themselves to be there. And just like the leaders and the chief of staff or the chief of the military staffs or what have you, want this world to be the end for everybody else.
Right.
Right.
You got the leaders, man, they become barbaric,
Yeah.
you know? They're no different than Genghis Khan and all the rest of them guys from way back when who went out and killed the Crusaders and the assassins, the hashish brothers.
Uh-huh.
You know,
They're saying they had a rationale, but Genghis Khan had his own rationale as to why he was doing
all
what
of
he was
them,
doing. Yeah.
all of them, and they killed and maimed and tried to take over the world. You know, you always had that negative force that's fighting that positive force.
Right.
And Ahezaah, and its mercy, has put me here in Newark, caused me to be born and raised in Newark, and raised this word up in this vicinity, not in Newark, but in this vicinity that it's claimed,
Oh yeah.
which is a part of Newark, the old Newark, because
Right.
all this whole region was old Newark Mountains. Newark, East Orange, West Orange, Maplewood,
South Orange.
Milburn, South Orange, all this area was Newark Mountains. And then men start sectioning them off like they do everything else, divide so they can all have a piece of the rock, so to speak,
Right.
Make their own claims.
and make their
Right.
own claims of knightlyhood or kinglihood or whatever, you know.
So Ahezaah is showing us now with this mission is the calling now to all people. I think about what the Lord says in Quran, for example, O children of Adam, if my messengers come to you, listen to them, hear them, you know, and then calling in the area that we're calling in on this urban area, the region of Newark, for example, and it's calling for this peace day. You call on all the people from the top down, and as well from the bottom up, to come together in true family, spirithood, brother and sisterhood, family. Bottom
Yeah,
line, to unify our communities, because as the old saying, we only 6 degrees of separation, so to speak. We all touch each other in some form or fashion, some way. But if we can't come together for a common good, and the good is the Lord. See, all the language you talk about, the language again, the good is the Lord being here, and the Lord calling to the people. The realization the Lord give this man the message that the Lord has, out of his mercy, come down into worlds of mankind again to call them. You know, we didn't choose the Lord chooses us. And they choose up people that have been downtrodden, for example, with the Hebrews at their time, the Arabs at their time. Now we got the African American that it preach us through Elijah, for example.
Well, you know, as a sign from the Lord, it takes the people who have been knocked down the hardest, right, to give them a sign of mercy. Say, okay, you've been knocked down. You know how hell is. You know how being downtrodden is. Now I'm going to give you my jewels. I'm going to give you my riches, my treasures.
Oh, yeah.
What are you going to do with them as a race of people, as a nation of people?
Right.
What are you going to do to, you know, with my words? I want you to take these words and represent these words and carry these words to all nations. But you got people, one after another through time, has always claimed those words for themselves and called themselves the chosen people and try to keep those words away from everybody else so that they will have the power of the Lord, which comes in his words, in the spirit of his words.
Right.
They want the power of the Christ so that they can master men. You understand? In every religion, the devil always steps in. See, the devil we've had devils step in this circle.
Right.
And Ahezaah has been taking them out.
Right.
But after my leaving here and leaving this word, because this word will be left, people sit back and they've been praying for my death, my demise for a long time, for decades. Not realizing that the Lord is determined to bring his word. And when I pass on, his word's going to be left here. You see? And curses and damnation may be left here as well. To those who don't listen, to those who don't surrender. You understand? I'm not in charge of this.
Right.
But it is a thing that must be done.
Right.
It is a way out for us.
Yeah.
And we are the downtrodden people. We are the only ones that in this great nation that's recognized as slaves by other people, as people without our own land.
Right.
You know, this young man told me, as a matter of fact, it was the young man Suleiman who was spearheading the Urban Peace Day. He told me one day he was driving his vehicle and he was upset and he had said some things to a Haitian or Jamaican brother, African, and one of them. And he started saying some real bad things to this guy, and the guy just looked at him and rolled his window down and said, "You don't even have your own country." Because he was saying, "Go back, why don't you need to go back home?"
Right.
He said, "You don't even have your own country to go back to." And he said he felt so foolish. He said all he could do was sit back and say, wow, he got that off. He got that off. Because he has been given understanding that this country is as much his as the house that we so-called own.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't pay your taxes and you can't pick that house up and walk away with it, you're going to find out that you don't own that house.
That's right. You know.
If you never reach a point where you can stop paying for the house and the land, you don't own it.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So we don't really have a home.
Right.
We're like orphans. We're stowaways.
Yeah.
Or not stowaways, we've been stolen. And now we're the after effect or the aftermath of those who were stolen, and we're still here. And we've been mixed up so much and kept so long, we don't have a place to go. It tears me up when they say go to Africa, Africa home, relate to Africa. That's a trick. What part of Africa? Africa is a whole continent. What part of Africa? Okay, they say go to Africa, right? Why don't you go back to Africa? Why don't you be like the Africans, you know? Okay, I'm going to be like the Africans. I'm going to be like the Egyptian and the Sudanese, Muslims. You told me to go back. I done went back in my mind. Now you're angry about that? What going back to African part you want me to be? You want me to be like the guys that they showed you in the Tarzan movies? You want me to hang out in the bushes with no clothes on? That's the Africa you want me to go back to?
Right.
You know, our people need to get off it. Our leaders need to get off it. They need to get off of it, man. And they need to come up, if they're gonna be intelligent and powerful, they need to come up with education, real education for our people, man, and hit to the point of the information that's being put out here. If they the leaders, they need to fight the leaders of other races that speak in low terms against our people.
Right.
They need, if they're gonna be religious, they're gonna be good Christians and good Muslims or whatever they call it. If they're gonna be good for real, then they need to stand up for truth. They need, if they find falsehood being taught in their path of life, they need to fight it.
Yeah.
They need to go against it. They need to stop being afraid and concerned what their congregation gonna think of them. Because what's most important is what the Lord that sent down the words of the religion, the paths, think of them.
Yeah. That's a point that had to be driven home, because from the local to the national stages of the political field. And we always talked about that, the polite calling of the politics. And we're not political in our aim, but we're about truth, justice, and equality. Now, that goes beyond a political Democrat, Republican, all those schemes, because we all want a good way of life. We want to have good homes,
how is it that it go beyond that? Explain that to me. Isn't that a problem? Isn't our nation, our government, our politicians, you know, local, state, and federal, isn't they supposed to be about freedom, justice, equality, independence, liberation? Isn't that what this Statue of Liberty represent? Isn't that what the 4th of July represent?
Supposedly.
Huh? Right. So why is it that we think that the religion that we stand for, something that they not supposed to stand for?
Well, I can see part of it becomes part of the separation of the so-called church and state.
There you go.
Thing.
Right.
And it ain't a separation of church and state, because every time they want to use the Lord, they throw it up there.
They do.
Huh?
They do.
Come on, Bush be doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
God and God we trust. This is a war between Christianity and Islam. Ain't no war between Christianity and Islam. It's a war between those congregators of Christianity and Islam who claim Christianity and Islam, but they don't. There's not a war against truth and falsehood.
Right.
It's a war against falsehood against falsehood.
Right.
It's a war against men who want to rule over here and men who want to rule over there. And they rule in disrespect, of the Lord Most High. They want to rule against what the Lord has sent down. That's why the Constitution don't fully follow the divine laws.
Right.
They break it off and write up whatever they want, and the people in the other nations do the same thing.
Right.
They make up stuff that's going to favor them. They like the Jews back in the days, or I shouldn't say the Jews, but like the Hebrews back in the days when Moses came and got them, and then they still want to worship the material things.
Right.
And I hope no Jews get angry with me, but they keep putting the stories on television and reminding me about it, you know, even though Moses is Caucasian on there and what have you, you know.
And those material things represent for them their worldly, their laws, their traditions, their their lifestyle, such as what they do now.
Everything geared towards them having power, land, money.
Right.
You know? And their thing is, forget everybody else. I don't care what you do. We're going to have our secret congregations, and we're going to take care of one another. I respect them for that. I don't respect them that they shut other people out and don't educate the world like their forefathers were told to do, or like the forefathers of the original Hebrews was told to do.
Right.
I don't respect them for that, but I can respect that they take care of their own when you compare them to our people. No matter how high our people get as a race, we are divided and we work towards division.
Right.
You know, and if you don't believe me, let's look at Oprah Winfrey, who went over to Africa and started that thing for the children in Africa.
Over there,
And then, you know, here they go, want to claim Africa. But, you know, Africa got all these different people within the Nubian nations.
Mm-hmm.
Different nations of people with different ideologies and different happenings. She got a people here. She has chosen them people over there and stayed over here about, well, the people, the blacks here would not respect that. Why don't you teach them to respect it? Right. Why don't you get off your high horses and stop having all the Caucasians up on your stage and come to the ghetto and start having some meetings with all your intelligence? Why don't you help?
Yeah.
You know, instead of hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you could do all your secret donations and charity, but if you ain't doing it public, you only helping a certain group. Yeah. Like they say, go to Spelman or one of those black colleges, and that's only a small percentage of people, man, that's going to them colleges, and they're advancing. And what are they advancing under? They're advancing under the American way. What is the American way? For a certain class of people to rise, and for a certain class of people to stay low.
Right.
So when these large businessmen get up, you know, these intelligent scientists and doctors and lawyers and so forth and so on get up, then they see themselves as separate from these people. And I can understand why. Have you ever gone on the street and try to relate this message to the people and see how they act?
Yeah.
You know, you can understand why. But the thing about it is, if for us to give up before we give out,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, you know, it's still our responsibility to try to do something, you know, because to save us is to save the world.
That's right. So true. And I know we talked about in a previous program, they mentioned, for example, Harriet Tubman, who had escaped to freedom, but risked her life to come back into slavery. Every slavery was.
She kept
to pull
coming
out
back
more people.
To get more people.
A sense of giving back. I'm not free till my people are free with me. You know, and that's the same thing, part of this message that the Lord's giving us with this Urban Peace Day. We're not free till my people out there who are down in the streets are not free.
And we consider our people, in essence, all the people in the United States of America, which stretched out to all the people in America itself, which stretched out to all the people around the world. You know what I mean? But we got to start at home.
Right.
It is crazy. It's crazy that you're going to try to straighten out the world and forget your own self.
That's part of the problem of America.
That's what I'm talking about.
They're policing the world.
They're policing the world and won't take care of this. And that's on the large scale. On the lesser scale is what our people do. And we're the only race of people in this United States of America that do that. We're the only ones.
Right.
We're the only ones that will hurt our own to get up and never help our own, only help to increase our own selves.
Right.
You understand? Where you have, man, you take all the other races and they work together and they do things so that they can rise as a people because they understand.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed